Welcome to KG5. It's the final day of the Women's Super League season for 2019. The Hobart Zebras taking on the Olympia Warriors for the title. The two teams beginning the day square on 47 points atop the table. The Zebras do have the better goal difference, so a draw will secure them the title. It should be a fantastic showdown between the two powerhouse squads of the Super League this season. I'm really excited for this one. Joining me to call the action here this afternoon is Paul Hunt and Molly Appleton. What are we expecting from this one, guys?
Thank you very much, Andrew. It's a pleasure to be here, as always, and particularly for what is turning out to be this de facto championship decider here at KGV. The two dominant sides of the Women's Super League so far this year battling off, and in terms of what I'm expecting high drama and goals. We've seen plenty of goals between these two sides throughout the year. 3-2 in the first game, 2-2 in the second, and then 3-0 to the Warriors as well. So plenty of goals, and I'm anticipating another high-scoring encounter, but with so much at stake, sometimes you do get the opposite. But given how both of these teams play, I'm not expecting that to happen. And yeah, I think it's going to go right down to the 90th minute. Molly, what do you reckon?
Hey Paul, hey guys. Yeah, definitely more of the same. Goals galore. I don't think either of these teams will sit back, soak up the pressure and just play for a draw. It's definitely all to play for. Goals, just look at the team sheets, they're full of goal scorers, so anything different would be very surprising and would take a lot of talent from both teams to miss a few sitters. So
yeah, two very good goalkeepers for each team too. Could have a large say in this one. I think certainly Shelley Cook, very experienced goalie for the Zebras. Title-winning experience. Jenna Farrow's been a revelation in net for the Warriors. But certainly the Warriors should be filled with confidence in the head-to-head matchup. I guess based off the matchups this year, 2 wins from the league games. They've played 3-1, also a draw there, so they've had the edge there, but the fact that the Zebras only need a draw does give them the edge. So you'd probably say Olympia maybe deserve to be favourites in a head-to-head type scenario, but in terms of who wins the title, the Zebras obviously having the edge there with that crucial goal difference. Yeah,
if you look at the form over just this season, you would think that Olympia does slightly have the edge. Zebras obviously with that great difference and goal difference they have do only need the draw, and then the firepower of the Warriors when you've got Maddie Chambers, Bonnie Davies. They've played some starring roles in the last few weeks. Maddie Chambers in particular has even managed to find another level, I think, in the last month, especially last week against Kingborough. She was the dominant player there. And then with the Zebras, Ali Berry and Zoe Nichols, 2nd and 3rd on the Golden Boot race for this year. Another sub-contest, I guess, within this game. Jasmine White up at Olvie playing at the same time. She's just ahead, but I'm sure that won't be in the forefront of Berry and Nichols' mind, but something else to consider in this game as we get ready for the teams to come out here for this big decider. And we'll quickly run through the team sheets.
And the interesting one is how do they contain Madison Chambers? Scored the hat-trick last time they played. It would seem that Danielle Kanagiza might be the one given the job on Chambers today, slotting in at fullback. She certainly got the pace to go with Chambers, and that seems to be the big news in the starting lineup for the Hobart Zebras today. So expect her in a defensive role out there this afternoon. Rachel Gill likely to be the other fullback. Isabella Ferry we've seen used in that role a little bit in recent times, perhaps will play further up the field. Lily Holton, I think, has had some of her best games this season against Olympia. She's caused them real trouble with her height and her strength at the leading the line up against those Warriors defenders. I think she's a real key. She brings in Berry, she brings in Nichols. She's such a key link-up player leading the line. Kayla Mason and Selena Stevenson, the tough tackling defenders. Expect them to be uncompromising and very important as per usual. Taylor Randall will patrol the midfield. We've touched on the brilliance of Berry and Nichols, the goals they've contributed this year. They've been unstoppable. Berry, for mine, the key to this side. The Warriors need to contain her. If she gets off the chain, she could win this game off her own boot.
Absolutely. Ali Berry has shown time and time again this season that she can just turn a game on its head. She just needs a moment to really grab the game by the scruff of the neck and score a goal out of nothing. We've seen it before, and there's a good chance we could see it again today here.
Perhaps the big name on the bench there at the bottom, number 9, Jessie Williams. I believe playing in another code at the moment in another final elsewhere. He's going to race across here and perhaps be an impact sub for the second half. She has proved the ace in the hole before this season, has come off the bench and won games for them. Twice this Zebras team have come back from 3-goal deficits this year. You've got to start believing it's your season when you pull that sort of thing. And if they are a couple of goals down at the break, they'll hold no fear. They've got the Jesse Williams card to play in the second half, and they've got form in that area. As we might move on to the Warriors before we get in to the kick-off here, and no real surprises in that lineup, unchanged from last week, I believe there. Olivia Bomford will start in midfield, obviously. A real key for them, pulls the strings, the playmaker of this side. The strength of the team, undoubtedly the wing duo of Chambers and Davies. They get so many goals from out wide. They attack down the flanks with tremendous speed. They may be the two quickest players in the comp, one on either flank. They've been brilliant this year, especially Chambers. They simply have to hope this Kanagisa move curtails their influence, because I think 6 of the 8 goals they've conceded to this side this year have been as a result of Chambers. Lazinski and Michael will partner each other in the heart of defence. Jenna Farrow in behind them, been so impressed by her this year. Probably the keeper of the season for mine. Purley and Teal, the likely fullbacks, with Russell and Williams in central midfield, complementing the real driver of that engine room, Bomford. On the bench, Pinkovic, Propovic and Quinn.
And again, a very strong lineup for the Warriors there, and as well making the mad dash across from Blunston Arena will be Amy Prokop. Are we going Prokopic?
Amy Pro?
Yeah, look, something like that. Anyway, Amy Prokopic playing with Jesse Williams for the Clarence Roos over at Blunston Arena in a different code. They'll be racing over here, but we are underway at KG5 for the championship decider. And we will see Daniel Kanagisa there at right back, get on the ball. Oh, position we often see her play at is Berry. Goes to the lovely little nutmeg, playing in Nichols. Going in out wide. There's Ferrier. Ferrier will just not quite keep it in, but it does look like Kanagisa at right back. And Isabel Ferrier at right wing. Seems to be playing out as expected otherwise for the Zebras.
Yeah, not seeing too many shocks out there starting wise. Nichols leading the line, Ferrier and Holton either side of her, and Berry will just sit in the hole between the midfield and attack and just link them up. She's going to start this year, 29 goals, what a season she's had. Bomford and Michaels, despite their relative youth, very much experienced customers when it comes to such a youthful league like the Women's Super League. And their experience in big games will be key today. This really is a cup final. As good as the Lions have been the cup specialists this year, I've been wanting all year a Warriors Zebras kind of knockout cup type match, and we pretty much get that today for the league title. I don't know how Kayla Mason hasn't committed the first foul off the game there. She's got away with that one, but won't be the first today, that's for sure, as Bomford comes through. Her shot deflects comfortably into the hands of Cook, the first shot on target there, but perhaps a free kick should have been forthcoming.
I do tend to agree with the partisan calls of shock there from the Warriors faithful in the grandstand. It seemed like a pretty dead set certain foul from Mason, just coming across to cover on Kanagisa, who was pushing up. It does seem like Maddie Chambers is dropping deep, and we see her turn the ball over inside her own half. This time Bomford with Nichols chasing, pushing the back, this time Given. Good hustle there from Zoe Nichols, lining up at centre forward, where we've seen her be so effective throughout the season. It'll be interesting to see how the Warriors play in this left wing situation. Chambers and Davies also usually switch flanks at least some point in the half, so it'll be interesting to see if they do anything about that as well, as Jenna Farrow gets a touch on the ball. Annie Michael has dropped into centre back since the departure of Maddie Black to America a few weeks ago, and looked really comfortable in that position. Not a natural one. There's Berry. Can't quite win the ball forward. Michael is normally a more central midfielder, defensive midfielder type player, but has looked very comfortable back there, but she turns the ball over at the moment. It's Holton has the shot, and well covered across there from Sophie Lazinski. First shot of the match falling to the Zebras.
Yeah, corner ball coming up here, and just getting the better of Michael was Lily Holton, who's been in good form recently. Important player for this side. Just really brings in those around her, and in the end, Sophie Lazinski making a good block. A fantastic defender, Lazinski, one of, if not the very best centre-halves in this league. He's had another wonderful season, very reliable player. Burt on the in-swinging corner, bounces just about on the line, and then it's taken away from Berry just in the nick of time. She was looking to slide that one home, and nearly an opening for the Zebras. It wasn't the most convincing defensive work, but they might transition into attack as we see early on Kanagiza sticking to the task that's been set to her, and that's to wear Maddie Chambers like a cheap suit.
And catching up to her very quickly as she ran down the wing. Kanagiza conceding the throw-in as well. As we had a look at that replay, I thought that was about to be the ultimate commentator's curse of raising Sophie Lisinski and nearly whacking it in the back of the net from 2 yards out. As Chambers, I think that time, slipped over. Kanagiza sends it over to Teal. Rand does the rest and clears it. The Bird and Berry have taken most of the plaudits in the centre midfield trio of the Zebras this year. Taylor Rand's played pretty well since cementing a spot in that midfield trio halfway through the season as Chambers rolls Kanagiza off to the races. Running towards the byline as Chambers crosses the ball in and well cleared from Steventon. Charlotte Chambers lurking with Shelley Cook out of position. First corner of the game, well, first for the Warriors here, but a good taster of what Chambers can do.
I think this is the early pattern of the game. The Simbras will attack. There'll be chances at both ends, and they'll look to use that speed on the break and try and get Maddie Chambers on the ball every possible opportunity. And she drives to the byline. Just realised they'd gotten away from her there and tried to buy the free kick, I think, but none forthcoming. So you can see their intent is to build down the left, and it's been something we've noticed a lot with the Warriors this year, hasn't it, Molly?
Yeah, they definitely love building down any wing, but the left is a place where they really like to pick at and to really, make the fullbacks work, which is always an area that you try to expose, I think, and they're very good at putting the cross in and finding an end result with that. Many teams who go with that just can't find the end product, but Olympia, you just need to look at their results to know they're finding the back of the net whilst still using the width, so that's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a rotating cast as the centre forward this year. They've had 4 or 5 options, but been one constant. Whoever's been slotted into that role has just benefited from the silver service and found goals. And here's the other half of that equation in Bonnie Davies, who wins the corner off Rachel Gill, who's been one of the big improvers in the competition this year. Has really nailed down starting slot here and has been a very reliable fullback option. Has the former Batman villain, and it's done very nicely as the corners played looking for Chambers. Didn't really do her any favours the way it was swinging away. Raf Purley now. Berry looking to work Bomford off it, but it fell to Maddie Chambers in space, and Chambers from distance just tries to finesse one, but comfortable enough for Cook. Not really her game, that Chambers, the long-range power shooting, more of a dribbler creative type and finishing inside the area, but she's got the confidence to take the long shot on, clearly.
Does indeed, as Holton's heavy touch will lay it back to Bomford. The Warriors, those who haven't seen a lot of them this year, do like to build up from the back, especially when they play out at Warrior Park. Really like to pass it amongst the defenders. It'll be interesting to see how the Zebras go about dealing with that, as Kanagiza doesn't quite... No, she does win the throw-in. Chambers with the last touch. An unfamiliar position for Kanagiza, but a task I'm sure she'll be up to as Nichols lays it to Rand. Bomford, the good challenge. Jade Williams trying to find Davies. Just overhead a tad. Davies will look to keep it in. Rachel Gill had the number the first time. How will she go this time? Loves to get on the right. Decides to go on the left. Back to Russell. Russell trying to turn away from Burt. Wanting to get the shot away. Georgia Burt closes her down well. So a pretty even contest to start this one here in KG5. Glorious day for football, as well as the sun shines.
It's a fantastic occasion for it, isn't it? And 2 of the very best sides going head to head. We haven't seen them in that cup game, but we've got them playing for the Super League title today, as that one's eluding Charlotte Chambers. Shelley Cook comfortably gathering that one. Warriors claiming 2 victories from the 3 games. A 3-0 victory at Warrior Park in their most recent match, but there's also a 2-2 draw in there, and going all the way back to the opening of the season, a cracking 3-2 game at North Hobart Oval. A last minute winner, if I recall, for the Warriors that day. And we'd take similar drama this time around, that's for sure. It was a wonderful entertainment. Expecting more of the same today as Chambers just lofts it over the top. But as she so often does, Kayla Mason read that, used her pace to get there, and just rolls off the foot of Kanagiza into touch.
Interesting to see Phoebe Teal looking to overlap with such regularity already. The first goal in that game at North Hobart came from a similarly unlikely source in the other fullback, Raf Purley, overlapping on Bonnie Davies. So we might see that tactic used a bit here this afternoon as well, as Chambers picks up the ball. Thought about going inside, will instead dribble down the left and wants to find a hole there. Kanagiza with the inside running the whole time. Chambers still going. Now trying to pick something out of the bag of tricks. Kanagiza holds her up well. Back inside. Out to Annie Michael. Olympia looking to attack down the right-hand side this time, but Michael's pass eluding the feet of Chambers of the Charlotte variety. And back to Shelley Cook, who's looked to find one of the attacking three at all times here so far as the keeper, going with the kick out with every possible opportunity. The Warriors starting to get a foothold in this game. As Joe Williams tries to find Chambers, Stevenson coming across and will go out for a throw-in. Just. Thank you to people signalling that down in front, right in our blind spot here at KG5.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Warriors are on top of this game through 10 minutes, Paul. Midfield just seems to be winning that battle a little bit early on. Bomford influential as Zebras try and play their way out, but a bit loose from Kanagiza, and perhaps that's been another factor. The Zebras passing just a little bit off early on, which is not unsurprising in such a high pressure game like this. Basically a cup final as Chambers trying to make things happen again. It takes off around the outside of Kanagiza and can't keep a cross in play. So 10 minutes in, what are you seeing so far from this one, Molly?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the midfields being won by Olympia, and that's why you can't see the Zebras really pushing up forward. But having said that, they really love the counter, so it's not necessarily going to work against them unless they start conceding goals. I think the matchup on the left flank of Olympia, where you've got Kanagiza up against Chambers, I think that's going to be really interesting to keep an eye on. I think there could be a switch off the flanks between Davies and Chambers at some point, especially at the moment where DK is just really hustling for that ball there. So whilst her positioning's not excellent in a technical sense, Chambers is just really struggling to get that ball into the box as well as she would really like to. So yeah, and that's totally what DK has shown throughout the season with pressing defenders. So I suppose it's just deeper on the park to what she's used to, and that's why she won't really miss too much. Commentator's curse there, but Rand's there to tidy that up.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Davies, who was the hero in that first game, scoring the winning goal in the 90th minute. I think scored another one on that day as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they focus the pass in there, as that bit of miscommunication there causes a pretty easy goal kick for the Zebras. Really in the first 11 minutes, I haven't seen a great deal of Zoe Nichols, which feeds back into that point about the passing up to the forward line of the Zebras. This Kanagiza goes to Rand. Now Ferrier, who's dropping deeper and deeper. Ferry. Now Zoe Nichols gets a touch, probably used to the blistering pace of Kanagiza already making that run. Just have to make a little adjustment here today as Michael does well to turn out of trouble. Jenna Farrow had that one nervy moment early on, but has been relatively untested besides. Teal, space to run into. It's Phoebe Teal, everyone backing off, and now Chambers gets her head up, wants to spray the pass to Charlotte. Chambers over her head, and Davies manages to steal in. Good save there from Shelley Cook. Davies still with the ball, back to Maddie Chambers. Has a shot on goal. Shelley Cook palms it away safely for a corner. Two good saves from Shelley Cook to start with.
Yeah, two you'd expect the keeper to make, but she does what is expected, and the Warriors continue to shade this one early on. Chambers taking advantage of Kanagiza just sitting off and allowing some time to swing it in, and Cook in down, crucially palming it away from the danger area, and then a looping effort here from Chambers as the corner is swung in. Eludes Williams, and it might fall for Zoe Nichols. She got nothing out ahead of her though, and Chambers working back defensively won it away anyway. Warriors really controlling this game. Bonnie Davies out on the right, two in the middle to pick out. One of them Charlotte Chambers over her head. Kanagiza should be able to steer it away, but had Montford breathing down her neck and opting to clear it. Not too much distance, so this probing from the Warriors can continue. Started brightly again. It's the Chambers-Kanagaiza battle once more. Chambers squaring needle out to run. Bomford with some room now. Drops the shoulder and gets to the top of the D. Well charged down Mason. Bomford's still going. Trying to find that space. There simply was none. The Zebras doing well to block en masse that little D area there. Not let her get the shot away. I know what Olivia Bomford is capable of. Seen that a few times down the journey. Chambers. There's a little support on this occasion, but Kanagaiza does well. What I'd like to see Chambers do, she's gone around the outside just about every time. I'd like to see her to drive in at Kanagaiza's left defensive foot. She's gone to the more natural right foot, trying to go around the outside. You've got an unfamiliar player playing in a defensive role they haven't before. I think you want to throw a few things out to make them as uncomfortable as possible. That's a great interception there from Pewley, because that was threatening to break out for the Zebras, who've really scarcely gone into their final third in this one. It's all Warriors right now, Paul.
Yeah, it certainly is. And just before, I think Taylor Ann could sense what Bomford was wanting to do there and just moved her away from goal. She was in prime position to unload, but just got an off body in and allowed the second defender in Stevenson to come across and block the shot, and then mopped up well after that as the through ball down the line. We'll see Kanagaiza clear into the car park. And I thought that was good intelligent work there from the centre mid, just knowing the opponent. And looks like Henny Michael's going to stride forward from centre back to take the throw in. Left me a little by surprise there. And Davies as well on that side. Now Bomford looks towards the back post to Charlotte Chambers. Well cleared. Fall to Holton, who'll not quite keep that one under a spell, and goes out for a throw. And it's been pretty much all Warriors the last 10 minutes since Holton's one shot on goal. And this time Berry manages to steal in. Nichols trying to get around the blind side of Michael.
Two keys to the game, Berry and Nichols, and they've barely had a touch here. They've just not got the supply. Olympia firmly on top. They're controlling possession, the tempo. And right now the Zebras just haven't quite rocked up. We've seen a few slow starts from them this year, mind you. When they do click, they can be ruthlessly efficient and score goals quickly. As Davies gets goal side of Kanagaiza and Mason, it's Bonnie Davies! Great save, Shelley Cook. Shuts that down. Best chance of the game. They're just hanging on at the moment, the Zebras. And Olympia are almost taking the lead here. Take about Shelley Cook.
The left pinky of Shelley Cook away from being 1-0 in front here. Just kept upright long enough. Davies would like that one a little bit more in the corner, but Cook stands tall, palms that one away, and she's made about 4 saves already in this match. And Shelley Cook, but it came from Davies and Chambers swapping flanks for the first time, and we'll see. They try from this corner here. Purely fires in the shin of Zoe Nichols, and they'll turn to break. Nichols tries to find Holton, but Lazinski was waiting on that one. Turned over. Russell battling away with Nichols. This time Ferrier's in some space on the far side. Georgia Burt wanted to hit it first time, but couldn't quite. Rand, everyone in the ground could see Bonnie Davies coming, and it wasn't loud enough for Rand as Chambers bursting down the right. Maddie Chambers, heavy touch. That's Stevenson in. It's been interesting to see. They've swapped flanks, and Kanagaiza hasn't followed.
Yeah, immediately a couple of chances coming there. Something different for both fullbacks to deal with. Kanagaiza facing Davies. He's not quite as comfortable on the ball as Chambers, but he's the fastest player in the league. Just that extra leg speed. Saw her get him behind, and then we saw Gill having to worry about the dribbling of Chambers. So, no matter who they're matched up against, a difficult battle awaits. But Olympia turning the screws here.
It's the corner count at the moment, Molly.
This will be the 5th corner. Yeah. I may have missed one, but I believe it's the 5th
I thought
corner
it was a lot.
for Olympia.
Dominant stuff.
Early one from Zebras.
Since that early corner, they've barely had a sniff, and again Bomford just winning it back. Zoe Nichols is tripped up there and will get the free kick in. She's just dropping back a little bit deeper to try and get on the ball and will her side back into this one, because she's had no supply, and perhaps she can be the one to turn things around as the midfielders are just receiving it, being pressured and going back while turning it over at the moment. The Warriors are flying about the pitch. They look more up for this. The hungrier side just in the early going. No doubt that everyone wants this Super League title, but some Warriors have come out with a real intensity to their play, and the Zebras just trying to absorb these early blows. Nichols and Bomford again scrapping at it. Back for Lazinski. Pass won't find Williams. Kanagiza will just let this one roll out.
I mean, in theory, the Zebras can play for a draw. I just wouldn't want to play for too long like this against the Warriors. It's kind of almost backs to the wall performance that it's been so far in the opening 20 minutes. It's a risky strategy. I'm sure they intended on playing with a bit more attacking verve, but they've really just been pushed deeper and deeper. Their back four is almost permanently planted about 25 yards out from goal. They've really had an opportunity to push up so far. As Lazinski tries to find a forward pass. Kanagiza's heavy touch nearly lets in Chambers. Lazinski as far as Teal with Ferrier. Still going Ferrier. I think that's going to be a throw in to the Zebras.
I wonder if it's a reaction to that last game when they were just torched in behind, that they're really making sure they're not going to get done in that way again, but it's just left them sitting a little bit too deep and just unable to build really. At the moment, they just can't get a foot on the ball. Olympia controlling the possession. Mason's been solid in the heart of defence. Made some good recovering runs early on. Back to Stevenson here, searching for Zoe Nichols, who can bring it down. Now can they get something going here, the Zebras? It's Georgia Burt swinging it across to Lily Hulton. She's got a little up in support with her, heads towards Nichols, straight to Innocent Michael though. Now Bomford. Across to Russell. Davies coughs it up to Rand. Hand up in apology there. Again, Zoe Nichols holds the ball up, lays it across to Hulton. Nichols working it to Ali Berry. Ali Berry sliding it through, offside flag raised. As Farrow slid out and made the block. But probably just about their best move of the game there, the Zebras, although still a little laborious for mine.
Yeah, we are looking at this. We're just having a look at the offside. Maybe went a tad early just on the right-hand shoulder. Very, very tight call, but I'm going to go with the AR, who is still in a much better position than our camera position we have up here in the grandstand. As Russell lays it out to Pewley. Now Davies has an opportunity to run against Gill. And you can see the sheer pace of Bonnie Davies bursting down the right-hand side. Only one in the box to aim for. That is Charlotte Chambers. Mason read that one like a book, and then I think that was meant sort of a pass come shot there from Russell. Roll harmlessly out for a goal kick, but that is the difference between Chambers and Davies. Chambers is the sheer pace when dribbling with the ball. Davies likes to sort of more hit it out in front of her and then chase after it with that pace to burn. Rachel Gill, not the slowest player in the league by any stretch of the imagination, but Davies just has that sheer speed that makes her such a threat. There's Teal. There's Chambers up ahead. Decides not to go there. Lazinski. Warriors again just happy to keep possession for the moment. Michael deciding to go for a stride forward. A little frustrated she didn't get the ball. She gets it back now though in a pocket of space, and there's 5 players ahead of her, one of whom is Davies, and that's a shirt pull there from Stevenson. Chambers still going. Chambers saved from Shelley Cook once again. I was surprised that wasn't brought back, but Chambers, Maddie this time. Kanagiza trying to keep that one in play. It's out for a throw-in. That was a shirt pull of the highest order there from Stevenson.
The only question is, was it still going when they're in the box? I mean, it's blatant here. Did it keep going is probably the question. There's still an arm grabbing her as she preps to take that shot. Might have gotten away with one there as Chambers focusing on taking the shot. She goes down. Maywell got it. Lovely work from Bomford. Spins it back across to Russell. Here's Charlotte Chambers. Drops it back to Olivia Bomford, shaping onto the right. But again, comfortable for Cook. What's the shot count out now, Molly? It'd be fairly one-sided, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's 7-1. 7-1.
Tells the story. Burt looks forward. It's very static when they look up and see what to pass at. By contrast, the Warriors look up and they've got players moving, running, making these bursting runs in behind. Zebras We'll get the ball now. Let's see. Is there just not a lot of explosion of movement when they get the ball, is there? They look up. No wonder they've not got options because only 1 or 2 people are presenting. If they're shut down, they've got nothing. And now Bonnie Davies is in down the right. Oh, Chambers at the top of the box is the option here. That's exactly where she heads. Couldn't quite collect. And in the end, Rand will take it away. They are holding on here at the moment, the Hobart Zebras. They only need a draw today. That's possibly a good thing. At the moment, it is all Warriors again. It's just a ball forward with nobody moving. And if you just rocked up at the ground and you're looking at the two teams, you'd think one had played 90 minutes beforehand.
Yeah, it's not really lethargic. It's just very, static is about the best word. As we see Chambers, who's been nothing but static or lethargic, will have another run at Kanagiza. Tries to go down the left, does so, crosses it in, a bit too close to Shelley Cook, just nearly inviting Charlotte Chambers in there for an opportunity. But yeah, it's just quite static. Olympia just having all of the play. As Barry Burt try to get something going that we saw before when they were trying to come out from defence, and Ferrier picked the ball up well inside her own defensive half and only had the option to pass it back. And it's not been the greatest attacking show from the Zebras as Mason looks up. Out to Kanagiza, who's just tullied that one out under the pressure of Chambers. Tell you what, I think in worldwide football we need to just have a referee in the commentary box at all possible times. I'm thoroughly enjoying not having the headset on today. It's been great to get some expert insight from some pundits close to us here in the media box. I was looking at that shirt pull earlier, whether that would be denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity or not. Conflicting opinions on that, but yeah, let's hope Steventon doesn't want to run that risk further in this game, or she may not last the full 90 as Steventon now clears, looking for Gill. Davies with that pace is taken out after knocking it forward. And I think Gill's just not used to everyone else in the competition who probably wouldn't have got to that. And the foul given.
Yeah, just deciding, well, I'm not going to let you go past and get a free cross in, although has escaped a booking. It's a fairly cynical lunge there from the former Batman villain, but gets away with it nicely.
That is the only thing I can think of, is she was just expecting that to roll out and not realising that Bonnie Davies is one of the 3 players in the league who would probably get that, along with Maddie Chambers and Jasmine White. Was just letting it roll out and left the leg in.
No, I think she knew exactly what she was doing there.
Well.
It was great, cynical, dark art defending.
Yeah.
It's the stuff we like up here.
It is. Look, and I'm sure she has people close to her can teach her dark arts very well, as the Bomford's free kick goes in, missed. Chambers, Michael lurking at the back post. Berry lifts it high in the sky, and this time gets a bit more purchase on it to Zally Berry, leaving the pressure on the Zebras for the moment. Lazinski now. I thought they were going to pass it back to Jenna Farrow, whose name I think we've called twice so far in this game. But we'll keep the pressure on as Teal runs into a pretty large gap in the centre of the park. Bomford, one more over to Russell's and on, but Bomford decides to go herself, and Bomford's still going. Mason stood her ground well. And now Rand with time to turn. Maddie Chambers on her back. Nichols. Berry. Space to run into for Ali Berry, but under hits the pass. Russell tries to find Pewley. She just keeps it in. There's Lily Holton. Only has the option to go back to Gill. Now Nichols. Again with nowhere to go. As soon as she picks up the ball, Zoe Nichols immediately pressured by Innocent Michael. And this time Lazinski strides forward to put a toe in. Bomford. This time Jade Williams, lovely ball down the flank towards Maddie Chambers. Kanagiza gets the inside line. Chambers crosses into the box. Steventon fires it towards Ali Berry, who again gets more distance on it, but that's really been Ali Berry's main role today, is to drop back in that position and just whack it clear for some distance. So good in an attacking sense, but just hasn't been able to get there so far in this game. There's Rand Misplaced pass will go to Bomford. Russell Davies is on the overlap, but she was stretching to get it. It was Russell. Now Berry. It's the return ball to Holton. An opportunity to run it purely. Has Nichols inside. Doesn't decide to go there. Instead, Ferrier turning out and finding Rand in the most attacking position she's been in all day. And a sighter there from Taylor Rand, but finally the Zebras getting some passing and movement in a forward area.
Yeah, actually stringing some passes together there, and they snuck one in behind. Rand, probably not the player you want to be finishing off the opportunities. Probably want to involve a little bit earlier in the move, but I think more out of desperation, just thinking, well, we've got to try and start getting some shots from somewhere, so find that one off. And see if they can press up and force the turnover. This is an area where the Warriors can be a little vulnerable at times. Their insistence on playing out from the back at all costs often leads to them turning it over, but this time they do it with a consummate ease, and Chambers has just overhit that one as Teal took off down the wing. And I think the best periods of the Zebras they've had in games with the Warriors has been when they've been able to box them in, close them playing out from the back. They've just not had the opportunity so far, have they?
No, well, even there you saw that the gaps in the midfield with their defensive line sitting so deep, they're just not able to make the pitch as compact as they have in previous games. Previous games you could have had a party in both ends of the field with how tight both lines have been, but today the Zebras just aren't risking it at all, and it shows that they're really making Olympia chase the game. And whilst the Warriors they've still not scored that goal, so I think the Zebras are going to go in happy with that so far, despite the lack of opportunities in front of their own goal.
Of course, a draw all they need today. You go, Paul.
Oh, so it does remind me of the 2-2 draw between these sides, where the Zebras got 2 goals between about the 70th and 80th minute, but in that first half they were thoroughly outplayed, and the Warriors took a 2-goal lead into that, and just feeding into that point of yours, Molly, they just need to capitalise on this sheer dominance they've had since about the 5th minute, and even on occasions where they haven't got 2 goals in the bank, Zebras have managed to fight back, and that's what they've got to be wary of here this afternoon.
Especially with the ace in the hole, Jesse Williams, just sitting on the bench. We've seen this Zebras team just flick a switch and seemingly turn it on in second halves before. So you're quite right, the Warriors need to take full advantage of this period in the ascendancy. They've got to get something to show for it. They've got shots on target at the moment, but as it stands, the Zebras will be champions as Rand across to Kanagiza. Kanagiza just punting it forward there, no one really on offer. Sophie Lazinski in control back there. Chambers, again, look at Mason using the pace to jump into that front position, get a foot in. She's been important in that regard through the opening 30 minutes. 4 or 5 times she's cut out balls. Just jumping in, showing good anticipation. This one's smashed away from Zoe Nichols by Innocent Michael.
We have just collected that other ball that's gone missing for 10 minutes. I thought we were going to have a severe delay there for a moment.
Good to know. We've got a couple on hand here. The multi-ball system is Georgia Bird again, able to get in behind. Plenty of Warriors back there. Teal. And try and play their way out, and that is what I was referencing earlier, when they're just a little too insistent at times on keeping possession and playing out. I think maybe just the old hoof might have been the option to pursue. Box back so deep and outnumbered. Kanagiza will throw instead. This one flicked on. Michael steers it away to Bomford. Bomford to Davies. She controlled it with a little header for herself. Chambers looking to back into Stevenson and hold it up. Does so well, and now Bomford looks to carry it out wide. Stevenson again jumping in. Couldn't take it off of Bomford though. Impressive early on. Still going Bomford. Still going Bomford. Back to Davies from range. Just always got a bit too far under that as she leant back.
I do enjoy the Bomford tactic of when the other 3 players are marked, just whip out the techers and try and beat everyone. I do like that lovely bit of skill, and did manage to work on that occasion. Got it back to Davies, but eagerness to shoot, had a leaning back significantly, was always going over the bar. And as the Zebras take the goal kick short, Rand under pressure, turns well, gets it out to Burt, looks up and has some options. One is Holton, Nichols in the centre. Minnie Michael comes out from centre back and wins the ball well. Purely up against Holton. Forward run. stopped on this occasion. Now, Russell. Turned over Nichols. Burt. Farrier's the furthest forward for the Zebras. She might go back to Rand instead and does. Still, as Farrier presenting. Does go in that direction. Just holds up a bit. Well, the Zebra striker lays it into the centre of the box. Nichols not quite able to pounce on that occasion. There's Lazinski. Out to Teal. Chris Hay not terribly happy with how the Zebras were defending the passing out from the back, and Chambers is getting ahead of steam to run it. Kanagiza decides to go inside where the Great Wall of Berry is eagerly awaiting and will win that one. Nichols to Rand. Kanagiza calling for it. Chambers tracking back. Berry couldn't quite keep that one under control, and again, complimented on their 1-7 pass move earlier, but again, the Zebras back to 2 or 3 passes and not much more at the moment as Holton can't quite get around Purely.
And just seems to be breaking open a little more in the last few minutes. Chris A just giving some instructions there to Kanagiza. That Chambers versus DK matchup looming as such a key to this match early on. We thought it would be the case, and it very much has been. So much of the play flowing through Chambers. This one flicked on by Nichols. Berry trying to get there, but always favoured Jenna Farrow.
It was a very, very technical way of saying get a head start was what Hayes' advice was.
Using plenty of words to a couple to suffice, you feel there, Foley?
I got the general gist of it pretty quickly, yeah. As Jade tries to find towards Davies. Now Russell. Gill, the crunching challenge. Got plenty of distance on that one. The former Batman villain. It's purely... ball staying play. I thought that was heading out harmlessly for a throw-in. Russell under pressure. And we'll see the Warriors attack the left flank once again. Chambers. Seeing TK dropping 5 or so yards. Trying to make Chambers think about it. She crosses early to the feet of Charlotte Chambers. Inches away. Gave her the space to pass and nearly did so to great aplomb did Maddie Chambers.
Yeah, she's just changed her attack a little bit after the opening 10 minutes or so, where she just drove to the byline every time. The last 3 times now, she swung in the early cross because Kanagiza is sitting off, anticipating she's going to run at her. And she's putting some pretty dangerous balls. They're really inviting the danger. I can understand Kanagiza's approach just to back off and not get beaten, but you can't give someone that much time to swing a ball in, and almost unlocking them again. Feel it's only a matter of time. As Nichols to Burt, back to Rand, forced wide to Kanagiza. She get forward to make Chambers accountable back the other way. Still furiously closing down every chance she gets, and Ferry's just not made that run there for that ball to be of any real impact. I don't even think that's got the wheels to go out. It's just going to chill, is it? No, just
as you get there. It's not the moment you hope it goes out, is it?
Absolutely not.
Got to say, outside of that pass, I think Taylor Rand's been about the Zebras' best player along with Shelley Cook today. He's covered plenty of ground and yet always offered an option for a pass. It's been really impressive to see. This Lazinski gets that one into a pocket of space. Teal. All about going to Chambers up top, but he'll pass it through the midfield. It eventually gets there. Steventon knew exactly what was happening on that occasion. Berry. Georgia Burt getting about as further forward as we've seen her so far today. Holton. Berry making a sneaky run to 20 yards out, and that's almost a great ball towards Nichols. Just stealing into that little gap there between midfield and defence and hits it first time. On this occasion, does Berry once again nearly staying in play, but not quite. But you could just see her peeling off the shoulder of Bomford, getting into the little pocket of space between midfield and defence. And nearly after having been on the back foot for so long, nearly a glorious opportunity for the Zebras. As Barrow take the goal kick. Chambers almost trying to work away onto Kayla Mason there rather than Kanagiza at the moment. And I think Lazinski thought that's about where she'd be, but she decided to do something different on that occasion. Ferrier. Back to Rand. DK with a lovely turn to get away. Burt. To the feet of Nichols. Berry. Does well to keep possession under a decent amount of pressure, and Burt thought about going herself and then just misplaces the pass. Chambers with a loose touch. Stevenson using all of her experience to slide in. Ferrier. Out to Burt, who could hit him from there, but decides to pass to Nichols, who couldn't quite help it on. Purely manages to clear, but the Zebras starting to get a little bit of a foothold in this game, although as soon as I say that, Bonnie Davies was about to go for a run, drawing Stevenson out and just ran without the ball. There, Bonnie Davies.
And Stevenson's gone to collect the player rather than the ball, and they both realised neither of them are actually on the ball. That was an interesting passage of play, that one. Stevenson had made the decision that Davies was not going past her, but she had left the ball behind as Kanagiza chips it forward looking for Barry. It's been pretty well held by this Olympia team so far, although it's largely because she's been doing defensive work rather than carrying the ball forwards. So we're 5 minutes away from the break here. A stalemate so far. The Warriors have firmly been in the ascendancy, but as it would stand, the Hobart Zebras will be hoisting the title if it remains all square. I'd be shocked if we got to full time at 0-0, mind you. There are goals out there on this pitch with the players out there. The chances have been there in the first half. Mainly for this side, they've not been able to do much. Kanagiza wins that battle with Chambers and now looks to hurt her back the other way. It's Kanagiza charging forward, the hero of the statewide cup final. Nichols able to get there and then a bit of a flinging arm at Russell. Kanagiza going around the outside of Teal. Lazinski across, but Kanagiza picked out Barry. Couldn't quite make it work for herself. But signs of life in recent moments here from the Zebras, I think.
Yeah, Kanagiza having her first run forward. I think she thought this is probably the only opportunity I'm going to get this half. I'll try to make the most of it, and did get the ball into a dangerous area. A bit too much sauce on it for her teammate. Now she'll do well back in defence as Chambers running forward. As Russell inside, or she could go herself down the byline. And with the pace for Maddie Chambers. Mason coming across, leaves the leg in, goes around that one and keeps the ball in, goes to the near post, but Shelley Cook manages to claim on this occasion. Early ball out to Ferrier. Rand with time to turn and look up and pick a pass. Nichols again has the same. Berry immediately wants to hit it to Holton and does. Against Purely. Do well to go back to Berry. Ellie Berry trying to pick out a pass and nearly splits the entire Olympia defence. A last-ditch challenge from Eddie Michael preventing, and now Davies is off for a run and Gills missed it. Onside is Davies. Mason needs to come across. Bonnie Davies hits it first time, but just really was in two minds there, Bonnie Davies. Could have either went herself or laid it in to Chambers, and in the end, just split the two.
Yeah, a little indecision here as three of the back four were pushing up trying to play the offside trap, but Stevenson wasn't. And
still had space to run into as well.
Yeah, probably should have carried a little further there. That might be the pressure of the occasion. Just getting to Davies a little. Had room to carry it, and then you give yourself more time to see if the pass or the shot's the better option. Caught between the two. Ticking towards the break, the Zebras would be delighted to go in all square at 0-0 as Teal just goes straight through the back of Ferrier. That'll allow them to push out a little bit. Fairly straightforward decision, that one. If Zebras were to conjure something before the break, it would be a real sucker punch. They've been on the ropes for much of this first 45. Teal, who just conceded the free kick, gets it straight back anyway. Coughed it up to Burt. Now Zoe Nichols, almost played in moments ago by Berry. She strokes it out to Lily Holton. Holton with room here, and on the right just tries to finesse one, but nowhere near enough pace to trouble Jenna Farrow. Just heaves it on out of there, looking for Davies again. Resuming her roaming battle with Gill. That was nice from Bomford, lifted it into her own path and then plays it through for Bonnie Davies. Again, the flying winger threatening with the early cross this time. Gets a second chance to do so. Charlotte Chambers. Back to Davies. Chambers with time and space. Closed down by Stevenson. Just in time from the veteran defender. They continue to hold on at the back. Advantage paid. To Ferrier. Couldn't find Nichols, and this one's whacked over the top. I think a couple of Warriors were offside anyway. And that will just roll over the byline.
Nearly in once again were the Warriors. Bonnie Davies again the outlet. Chambers, it felt her in the 18-yard box. She sort of had to hit a rasping shot first time or turn out and keep possession of the ball at that occasion. And I can't imagine there being a great deal of injury time. I think I just got 1 minute, and we actually have a fourth official board here today, so don't even need to worry about the guesswork. You know, when all we need's that and the ball plinth, and you know it's a big game. We didn't have the ball plinth here today, but we got the fourth official board.
Yeah, you know it's a big occasion when the fourth official board gets trotted out. The ball plinth, not sure if it's still covered in pink or not. I don't think the last time that got rolled out might have been the breast cancer game up in Devonport. As Maddie Chambers again will have a run at Canageezer, and again she goes inside. Skillful stuff from Chambers. Oh, Mason needs to be careful not to foul there. Gets in and forces her back wide. Chambers still doing her thing though from the byline. A heavy cross this time, too much on it. Under hit a few of them, but that was what I was talking about earlier, running at the left foot of Canageezer, cutting inside a little, and she went round her far easier than trying to go around the outside. Fortunately for Canageezer, there was Mason as 1 minute signalled by our fourth official, Ian Colhoun.
That's surely a foul by Bomford on Barry, and is, and to be fair to Zebras, they can either have one last shot or use this as an opportunity to push up and get some space. In the end, it'll be short to Burt. Gill tried to find Holton, instead just got the toe of Bonnie Davies. Now the Warriors back in possession. Williams looks for Chambers. Lee Chambers thought about running Teal. Instead will go herself. Wanting to jink inside as well, just leaving Canageezer in 2 minds. It's over the head of Chambers. Davies probably wasn't expecting it, and it came off the shin pad. Just glanced off the head of Charlotte Chambers for probably the last piece of action for the half.
Yeah, again Chambers getting the better of Canageezer. Putting a dangerous cross in. Looks like they're going to make it through to the break unscathed though, despite a real siege in the penalty box. It's been a good first half from the Warriors and Chambers, but they've just lacked that end product. Oh, could the Zebras really hit them with a sucker punch at the end? It's Zoe Nichols sliding through. It's a wonderful ball for Ferrier, but Farrow was alert to the danger. Cool as the other side of the pillow there, and that will be half-time here at KG5, locked 0-0. The Zebras, as it stands, would be Super League champions. They're 45 minutes away, but plenty of reasons to be encouraged if you're Olympia Warriors, a spectator. Thoughts on the first half there, Paul and Molly will get your takes on that first 45 of action here in the Super League decider.
I mean, the Women's Super League matches I've watched this year have always been tactical battles, and it's been one of the real features of the league, and we've seen a wonderful exhibit of that so far today. And Zebras lining up with their flying winger at right back to curtail the opposition, and then Olympia trying to probe their way through, and to be fair, they did on a couple of occasions, but then having a keeper like Shelley Cook in goals can keep you in matches, and that's pretty much been the difference here in this first half. The score stands like it will at the moment. Zebras will be champions, but Olympia, as you say, Andrew, have got to feel positive about that first half performance. They've just got to keep going and hope eventually their possession and their attacking intent will yield a goal. But to say it's all to play for in the second half, Molly, is an understatement.
It's all to play for, Paul. I think, yeah, that was definitely a tactical masterclass almost. You've got to be wondering whether the reaction of the Zebras putting DK deeper has also had an impact of how they play, in terms of they're almost waiting for what Olympia's going to do before they click into gear. And I think the last 10 minutes you just saw suddenly they were buzzing a bit more, and I think that's why play opened up a bit. You had Berry on the ball a bit more. They were finding Lily out on the left flank. But I think that's definitely shown, having that reaction. And if they can find a way to be proactive in this game with having that reaction of having DK deeper and really trying to handle Chambers, I think that could put them over the edge. But then again, Olympia have changed it up with Maddie Chambers on the flank is brilliant. You know, she's figured out cut in on DK's weaker foot and put that across. So it'll be interesting to see if DK actually does stay out in that position, if, you know, Chambers has definitely opened up that pocket, and the last couple chances were absolutely mint, and they just needed someone on the end of that. And if they have a sub that can put the ball in the back of the net off those crosses, then, you know, it could be anyone's game still. So all to play for.
All to play for indeed. And we'll be back in around about 10 minutes time with the second half. 0-0 at KG5 in the Super League decider. Year I've been wanting all year a Warriors Zebras kind of knockout cup type match, and we pretty much get that today for the league title. I don't know how
defensive midfielder type player, but it's looked very comfortable back there, but she turns the ball over at the moment. It's Holton has the shot and well covered across there.
Another wonderful season, very reliable player. Burt on the in-swinging corner, bounces just about on the line, and then it's taken away.
Trio halfway through the season as Chambers rolls Canagese up, off to the races. Running towards the byline as Chambers crosses the ball in and well cleared from Stevens.
Looking to work Bomford off it, but it fell to Maddie Chambers in space, and Chambers from distance just tries to finesse one, but comfortable enough for Cook. Not really her game, that.
Backing off, and now Chambers gets a head up, wants to spray the pass to Charlotte Chambers over her head, and Davies manages to steal in. Good save there from Shelley Cook. Davies still with the ball, back to Maddie Chambers. Has a shot on goal. Shelley Cook.
You want to throw a few things out to make them as uncomfortable as possible. That's a great intercept. A few slow starts from them this year, mind you. When they do click, they can be ruthlessly efficient and score goals quickly. As Davies gets goal side of Canagese and Mason. It's Bonnie Davies! Great save, Shelley Cook. Shuts them. Since that early corner, they've barely had a sniff, and again Bomford just winning it back. Zoe Nichols is tripped up there and will get the free kick in. She's just dropping back. Nichols working it to Ali Berry. Ali Berry sliding it through, offside flag raised. There's Farrow.
She gets it back now though in a pocket of space, and there's 5 players ahead of her, one of whom is Davies, and that's a shirt pull there from Steventon. Chambers still going. Chambers save from Shelley Cook.
Drops it back to Olivia Bomford, shaping onto the right, but again comfortable for Cook.
Go down the left, does so, crosses it in, a bit too close to Shelley Cook, just nearly inviting Charlotte Chambers. Clears, looking for Gill. Davies with that pace is taken out after knocking it forward. Instead Ferrier turning out and finding Rand in the most attacking position. She's been in all day.
Early on, still going Bomford. Still going Bomford, back to Davies from range. Just always got a bit too far under that issue.
Towards Davies, now Russell. Gill, the crunching challenge. Once again, Chambers. Seen TK dropping 5 or so yards, trying to make Chambers think about it. She crosses early to the feet of Charlotte Chambers. Inches away.
Flinging arm at Russell. Canagese going around the outside of Teal. Wazinski across, but Canagese picked out Berry. Couldn't quite make it.
Berry trying to pick out a pass and nearly splits the entire Olympia defence. The last-ditch challenge. Many Michael preventing, and now Davies is off for a run and Gill's missed it. Onside is Davies. Mason needs to come across. Bonnie Davies hits it first time, but just really was in 2 minds.
Ticking towards the break, the Zebras would be delighted to go in all square at nothing as Teal. And again she goes inside. Skillful stuff from Chambers. Oh, Mason needs to be careful not to foul there. Gets in and forces her back wide. Chambers still doing it.
That's surely a foul by Bomford on Berry, and is. And to be fair, Teal instead will go herself. Wanting to jink inside as well, just leaving Kanagisa in 2 minds. It's over the head of Chambers. Davies.
That end product. Oh, could the Zebras really hit them with a sucker punch at the end? It's Zoe Nichols sliding through. It's a wonderful ball for Ferrier. But Farrow was alert to the danger. Cool as the other side of the pillow there. And that will be half-time here at KG5. Locked 0-0. The Zebras, as it stands, would be Super League champions. They're 45 minutes away. But plenty of reasons to be encouraged if you're Olympia or as a spectator. Thoughts on the first half there, Paul and Molly will get your takes on that first 45 of action here in the Super League decider.
I mean, the Women's Super League matches I've watched this year have always been tactical battles, and it's been one of the real features of the league, and we've seen a wonderful exhibit of that so far today. And Zebras lining up with their flying winger at right back to curtail the opposition, and then Olympia trying to probe their way through, and to be fair, they did on a couple of occasions, but then having a keeper like Shelley Cook in goals can keep you in matches, and that's pretty much been the difference here in this first half. The score stands like it will at the moment. Zebras will be champions, but Olympia, as you say, Andrew, have got to feel positive about that first half performance. They've just got to keep going, and hope eventually their possession and their attacking intent will yield a goal. But to say it's all to play for in the second half, Molly, is an understatement.
It's all to play for, Paul. I think, yeah, that was definitely a tactical masterclass almost. You've got to be wondering whether the reaction of the Zebras putting DK deeper has also.
And we are back for the second half here at KG5. Super League title on the line. Scores level at 0-0. The Zebras currently holding top spot due to goal difference, but they were really battered for much of that half. The update from the ground is that Jesse Williams is in the precinct, however, so brace yourselves. That could well be coming. The ace in the hole could be deployed soon for the Zebras. Olympia will feel they probably won't have a lead by the time that nuclear option gets hit. There's Holton. We'll see if the Zebras have restructured a little and swings it for Ferrier. Quite control it there. Teal in pursuit, and Ferrier, well, gets a free kick in the end. I'm not sure what Teal needed to clip it there. It was, well, she was never getting to. And they'll take the throw in. No real rush here. The Zebras, of course, a draw all they need, so it is on Olympia to make the play, but make the play they did in that first half. I don't think it was a particular advantage going to this end due to wind at all. It's a pretty good day. Slight breeze about, but nothing significant.
The lights are on at 3:10.
Well, that's pre-programmed, I'd have thought. I'm not sure that's due to today's weather. A pretty good day here at KG5 as Burt swings it in, hits the deck. Ali Berry, snapshots over the top. That's signs of life early in the second half for the Stripey Horses.
Probably her first real sight on goal as well for the day. Ali Berry maybe being implored by her coach to push forward a little more in this second half. As Michael finds Purely. Russell wanted to give the return ball a little fall fortuitously to Davies, who can't find a teammate. Holton tries to go the cheeky nutmeg on Davies, and will she keep it in to prevent a corner? No, she won't. So another early corner in the half for the Zebras, similar to how it was in the first. Rand to come across to take. Sure, Walter will get an appropriate photo of this corner as well in prime position. And taken short as far as Burt. Burt rolls it to Ferrier, whose eyes lit up. Did fall for Stevenson. Now Berry turns around, but can't quite wrap her foot around enough, and will fall harmlessly for a goal kick. A lot of short corners on offer here this afternoon. As Barrow gets the Warriors started. It's a good ball out there from Lazinski. Chambers v Kanagiza. Matchup one for the second half is about to happen. And Chambers will get there. It's good defence there from Kanagiza. She may have been won a goal kick here and has done. Very good work from Kanagiza. Chambers trying that trick of ducking inside. Not working on this occasion. I'm sure that will not be the last time we see that here this afternoon. as the countdown clock is on for Zebras. Score stays like this, they will be Women's Super League champions. And it's Mason. Can't quite find Ferrier on the far side. Will do well to turn up as Chambers has got goal side of Kanagiza. Lofts one high in the air, but out harmlessly for a goal kick. And Zebras, I don't know if they're doing it deliberately or not, but just taking their time a little more with set pieces here in this second half.
Yeah, I'm not sure the instruction is to play for the draw, but certainly whilst it remains level, they've no incentive to try and extend the match. And in some ways it would be fitting if the two were to end the season tucked away in the exact same number of points and came down to pure goal difference, because there's been such little between the two this year. This is a nice build-up though. Bonnie Davies plays it in towards Charlotte Chambers. Chambers, it spills out the back and cleared away. Desperate defence there as the Warriors almost unlock them. And the pressure will be relieved. They've just been holding on, this Hobart Zebras defence, and it's exactly the story to start the half here. Some nice defending from Kayla Mason, and then Kanagiza had the awareness to step in front of Chambers, who was lurking. Purely dexterously away from Holton as Davies in support, who goes down, gets clipped and gets the free kick.
Clear foul on Davies there, and I thought Mason had that situation covered just before. It was almost like the Zebras doing their best to concede their own goal there before, but being bailed out by DK at the last moment. Set piece opportunity. Magic spray as well in use from McInerney. Bomford, a fantastic set piece artist. The Zebras probably have the height advantage. But we'll see what Bomford can do. Got 2-4-6 in the box to aim for, does Olivia Bomford. Lofts one centrally. Mason comes out to clear. Purely gets in front of Nichols. Now it's a foot race. Coming back to collect is Lazinski. Finds Russell. Lazinski's pass only finds Gill. Holton tries to roll Purely and does so very, very nicely. Long ball out towards Ferrier. Won't quite get there, Teal, but she'll turn it over and concede the throw in. Holton, a lovely piece of skill to get around her marker.
Yeah, love another look at that if we get a chance there, Charlie. So you have a look at Holton just gliding past Purely. Very well-rounded player. Berry knocked it down to Teal. Chambers looking for Chambers of the Charlotte variety. Swings it centrally for Bonnie Davies. Davies, quick release to Russell. Returned to Bonnie Davies. Goes past one. Knocked off balance by Stevenson, and free kick will be coming back there. And a slice of cheese, I'd imagine, as well for Selena Stevenson, who was probably fortunate not to be booked in the first half, so had this one coming a little bit.
Took the words out of my mouth there, Andrew. I think first half probably should have had a cheese, and this time gets one in just about the exact same spot, I think, where Olivia Bomford scored against Kingborough last week.
She's got form over the dead ball.
Eyeing off that top corner already, I think, is Bomford.
This is a chance just to write yourself into the history books if you're a free kick taker. Super League decider. This would be a huge, huge goal. She can conjure the magic. A big moment in the game here for Olivia Bomford. Just the two in the wall is interesting. We'll see what Bomford opts for. She steps up, brings it up and over. It's absolutely superb from Olivia Bomford. And the Olympia Warriors take the lead and they take top spot. They have 38 minutes to hold on. But Olivia Bomford with what could be a seismic goal for this football club. Sublime.
Often we talk up free kick takers, it comes to naught, but Olivia Bomford is one you can absolutely bank on. As soon as that free kick was given, her eyes lit up. So did that spot in the top corner. Executed to perfection. And the heart of the midfield of the Warriors puts her team in front And now will they look to extend it? Will they hold on to it? And the Zebras now really need to get on their bike, and they'll try here with Holton running it purely. Manages to get round the defender. Low left foot cross. Farrow will keep it in play. And now Davies. The pace of Davies and Chambers could be even more critical on the break, but as soon as I say that, she turns it over. And now Berry tries to find a through ball towards Nichols. But the Zebras now forced to take on this game a bit more.
Just having a glance down to the bench. No signs of movement from the Zebras just yet. No deployment of the secret weapon, but they need to go now. Well, not so secret weapon, rather. But look, they've not really looked particularly threatening today, have the Hobart Zebras. Jesus, a big grin on George from Marcus's face as he walks through the sand. Haven't seen him that up and about in a little while, fair to say. Enjoyed that free kick as we have another look at it. And the moment that foul was conceded, you just sensed that this was a big opportunity. They've had some pretty good set-piece takers down the years, the Warriors, but Olivia Bomford, one of the best. Just every player knew that that was a big opportunity. Superb technique. And the Warriors with very much a deserved goal. They've been the better side in this one. They've made all the play. It's over to the Zebras now. How will they respond? The treble winners of 2017, the current statewide cup champions. They've got plenty of big game experience, but just right now they're looking decidedly off the pace as Davies slides it through. The flag's been raised on Chambers. The ARs in the crowd didn't agree with that decision, but the flag was up very quickly.
I initially thought that might have been a hair offside. She was up against Mason. It was whether or not Kanagiza on the backside there was keeping her on. Some people in the crowd disagree with that, as well as the vocal ones, some less vocal ones as well, disagreeing.
Not even the partisan.
With that one.
Not just the partisan.
No, not just partisan. That one is Holton now trying to find with the goal scorer Bomford nipping at her heels and forces the turnover. Michael has plenty of options to aim for. Jade Williams tries to find Chambers. Kanagiza stealing away, but Penny Michael had stayed forward for the moment and tries a searching ball for Davies, which I don't think she can quite get to. But just that excitement and tension building in the crowd here as soon as Bomford's goal going in. It was really, really fantastic. And we'll see how we go. Still no signs of a substitution for either side. Just at what point do you bring Jessie Williams on if you're Crusade?
What do you reckon, Molly? I'd be opting for it pretty soon.
Yeah, look, you want half an hour out of her, I think, if she's fit for it, if she's ready. Definitely half an hour would be golden.
They need something to spark them into life. We know this is a team that have just flicked that switch in second halves, but it's a more sustainable method generally over the long term when you're making those dramatic late comebacks. It should give them confidence to know they can score late if they need it as Stevenson stretches there, but geez, it's a risky business just relying on being able to flick a switch, because the way this game has trended has been all the Warriors. Davies drives to the byline, puts a cross in, dangerous ball for Williams! And it was blocked away behind for a corner. But the Warriors, the confidence is flowing and they're searching for a second goal that would make life very tough for the Zebras. They're surging right now. Well done, Danielle Kanagiza.
Yeah, crucial challenge there at the last moment. It was a perfect pass. Right into the 6-yard box. I'll take this one quickly, purely. Heavy touch nearly lets in Nichols. Chambers eventually cleared, only as far as any Michael. Michael trying to turn on the left foot and hits it right into Rand. Turning out is Holton with the chance to attack, but Michael, after that shot, tracking back, doing her defensive duties well. Now Russell. Bomford wants it again. Bomford trying to turn around Burt. Now Ferrier. There's Teal to beat, but goes to Nichols. In some space is Holton. Ferrier. Burt going around the outside. Rand, I think, wants to try and get it to Berry here, and does. Ali Berry running into the heart of the defence, but not quite executing that manoeuvre. Now Davies up against Gill. Stevenson's on a yellow card here. She's got to be careful, and I think Davies knows it. Bonnie Davies still going into the box. Davies shoots near post, saved by Cook. falls to Chambers, eventually blocked. Matty Chambers on the left, blocked again from Kanagiza. Well, the Zebras holding on by the skin of their teeth here.
He's the most unconventional goalkeeping technique. You won't see this one from too many. But gets the foot out to it, slams into the post. And it was Chambers. Here's what I want to have a look at. The shouts for handball against Kanagiza. Nothing in that. Beautifully blocked away. Just a little excitement in the crowd, but nowhere near in the end. But wow, they are turning it on right now, the Warriors. The Zebras, they need a response. This game slipping away from them at the moment. They're buzzing about the pitch, filled with confidence. Bonnie Davies showing her tremendous pace, running at a defender on a yellow card. And now it's Chambers taking on Kanagiza. The confidence flowing from these Warriors, but just doing a little too much. Although Kanagiza's got a touch on it, so it will be a corner as we approach the hour mark. And the Zebras need to find something to change this game up. The Super League title is slipping away from them as it stands. You can't say you'll be writing them off. We've seen them in second halves, late in second halves before. They've been the comeback queens this year, the Hobart Zebras. They're going to have to dig deep and do it one last time. I suppose it would be fitting in one respect were they to do it, but as it stands, Olympia are absolutely piling on the pressure. They've got another corner. I'm not quite sure what the hold-up is here.
I have no idea either. That's what I've been frantically looking for the last minute.
Cook's getting her gloves fixed up. Not sure, maybe doing shoelaces up or something. Yes, put them back on. But anyway, we're good to go. The corner to be taken by Williams. She bends it in. Chambers was there. Cleared so far as Zoe Nichols. Oh, just under hit that a little for Bird. Allowed Williams back on the ball. Bomford has been pure class in midfield today. Can't get the better of Rand on this occasion. Mason blasts it long. Williams has been summoned. So the weapon's about to be deployed for the Zebras. And they are going to need Jesse Williams to fire one more time. Hello, it's Ali Berry sneaking, taking advantage, storming on. Ali Berry! Spies the keeper off her line, deftly chips her and squares it up at KG5. They've barely had a sniff all day. A turnover at the back. You give Ali Berry an inch, she'll take a mile.
She only needs one shot. Does Ali Berry manage to roll the defender in a good pocket of space? Farrow caught in two minds. The call for the chip was on and executed to perfection. An immediate reply from the Zebras, and we will still see the substitutions made by both sides. I was particularly enjoying the grin. Jesse Williams and Amy Prokopiec is what I'm going to go with. Sharing a smile. Teammates not 1 hour ago in a completely different sport. Now rivals in a different one. And it's Charlotte Chambers coming off for the Warriors. And Taylor Rand coming off.
She's not aware of it.
She's unaware of it. There was definitely a number 6 on that board. So it seems like I'm going to say maybe Holton into centre mid, Nichols dropping deeper, the engine of Williams in centre mid potentially as well. But one of the more unique substitutions happening after a wonder goal from Ali Berry, and it could potentially be the championship winner for a side, but there is plenty of football still left to be played here as Stevenson coming across. Cook manages to claim.
Just out of nowhere, that goal too. The first 15 minutes, they had been hit repeatedly. They'd finally gone down. But that's been the Zebras this season. Ali Berry, what a weapon to be able to call upon. Just a moment of magic. And they're all square and they're back on top. It's Maddie Chambers, the Warriors talisman at the other end. Bonnie Davies. Gill did well to get it away from her. And one senses there's going to be a few more scoring chances in this one. 30 minutes to go. What are you expecting from this final 30 minutes here, Molly? It's getting tense at KG5.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously the Warriors have been searching all game and they got returned, but they've been called out. Just that one loose pass, I'd say it's the only time today there's been a loose pass really, and just not good enough, unfortunately, for them to concede a goal like that. It's really, it's a bit disheartening, but you've still got half an hour. That would be a bummer if it was the 90th minute for them, but they've still got time. So I would say that it will be interesting to see how the substitutes come on. They've obviously backed up from another code today, so we'll see how their impact will be on the match, and that could be a big change up from what we've been seeing.
Yeah, certainly Prokopiec could offer the Warriors that extra thrust in attack. And we know what Williams has done. Has been the match winner on a couple of occasions. Just individual brilliance, just waltzing past defenders and scoring solo goals. And she'll give them a real triumvirate in attack with Nichols and Berry. This formation's just changed a little bit to accommodate her, now going with 2 up front. As the Warriors driving forward. Davies, who's got a pocket in the inside lane here and tries to get in behind Gill, does so. It's Bonnie Davies! just kicked aside by Cook. It's casual as you like there, the keeper. Pressure or pressure, just lazily extends the leg.
Never seen anyone so casual about a foot save ever on a goal line there, Shelley Cook. I mean, I'm assuming she had that covered.
Oh, she had that covered the whole way.
Yeah, just very casual as Chambers trying to dink around Kanagiza. Chambers into the box and first shot for Kopiec and just wide. Shelley Cook not so confident about that one. And another shot on target. And the other substitute hits this afternoon. And it just sat up nicely. Got good purchase on it, and that has not missed by much.
Very sharp chance in the end, and well done, Matty Chambers leading Kanagiza and Mary Dance out there on the left wing. And Prokopiec couldn't quite strike that one home. It was a very good chance on the replay. As you mentioned, did set up just perfectly as Mason to Berry. Into the final 25 minutes of their season here. The title race coming right down to the wire. A goal either way could well settle it. The Zebras, as it stands, would be champions, but the Warriors have been the better side today. They've won 2 of the 3 meetings, and now it's Kayla Mason, of all people, making things happen in attack. The centre half jumping up in there. And here's the dangerous Williams. Just doing her thing, trying to find Zoe Nichols. Charging through Sally Berry. Well away, purely. Chambers against Ferrier. And Chambers eventually plays on. Had a teammate down, thought about kicking it out. Purely still on the deck back in the penalty area, but play continues. Maddie Chambers. And eventually she will just kick it into play because Ralph Purley is still down in the penalty box. And given the stage of the game, I thought she wouldn't have unless it was something pretty serious, although it just looks like cramp looking at the way her teammates are treating her.
Well,
have that or they're committing medical malpractice.
Look, I'd like to hope not. She did stay down there for a while, did Purely, but it's just going to give the Zebras an opportunity, I think, to work at their midfield tactics. Some of the communication between Hay and Holton and Williams, it wasn't quite getting out there, and I think that allowed Bonnie Davies an easy run earlier on, just a little bit unsure. So that'll certainly work to the Zebras' advantage, as would Ralph Purely having to go off. Solid player at centre-back. We do hope it's just cramp. And she'll receive a bit more treatment, but this game poised on a knife's edge at the moment. 1-1. A reminder, Zebras just need the draw to be crowned champions. I still think they'd want another goal here against a lethal Warriors attacking lineup.
Yeah, any team that puts a forward on like Jessie Williams is going to be searching for a goal. I don't think you'd make that change without at least having that idea. I know that was made right on the goal, but either way you would have pulled back and gone, yeah, let's hold that back for another 10 minutes. And they've probably looked the better since scoring the goal. They've looked a lot brighter, and it's definitely opening up. And I think it will depend on who will capitalise on the game opening up more, and that might just come down to the experience of the defence. You know, again, if Olympia get caught sitting on the ball too much, too deep, then they could get caught again, whilst there'll just be nerves in the back for the Zebras where, you know, the title's on the line. If the score stays, they know they could win that title. So that all plays in with the mind games, really. So it'll be whoever's mentally the stronger team out of the two that could come away with the title here.
Yeah, as you say, they've seen late drama in these games this season between these sides. North Hobart game, I think it was the 89th minute that the Warriors pulled that one out of the fight. The Zebras a couple of occasions during that little run they went on, scoring late in games, coming back from 3-goal deficits. So plenty of time for this scoreboard to change, and certainly the way the Warriors have played, they've looked good value for a second goal. I wouldn't all be feeling comfortable at 1-1 for the Zebras.
Probably should have had at least 2 in that first half, really, based on the dominance of possession and times in the opposition attacking third, as it's a great turn from Williams, gets a head up, tries to play it to Nichols, Bomford in the way. Now Chambers. That was surely an elbow to the face there of Williams, and everyone else stopped, but you do have to play to the whistle as Bomford intercepted by Berry. Ali Berry only one up ahead, and that is Nichols. Running at Lazinski is Zoe Nichols. She'll do well to win a corner here for her side, Nichols. Keeps the ball in. Knocks it back to Berry. Kanagiza calling for it. We'll end up with Burt. Georgia Burt sizing up Williams. Chests it down. Tries to turn this Williams. Manages to turn one. Fires off a shot. Michael in the way. Now Berry. Heavy touch. Bomford. And now Prokopiec tries to get around Stevenson, who's on a yellow, who left a leg in. Always risky. It was Davies back, but I do think running at Selena Stevenson is a tactic here at the Warriors.
Absolutely.
So far this afternoon.
I mean, it takes a brave player to do it, but I'll tell you what, on a yellow, known for a rash challenge or two, wouldn't be the worst idea for a Maddie Chambers or a Bonnie Davies type to just go running out of there.
Well, I think the leap there may have saved her at least conceding a foul, if not another yellow. So lucky that the forward's been considerate there.
There's Williams now trying to cut through the middle. Prokovic way by Gill. Well, smash from range from Teal was a fairly optimistic effort, but Cook will eat up some more time here as Raf Pewley finally comes back on. So back to a full complement now, the Warriors, after playing with 10 in the last few minutes. Long from Cook to the wing. Won by Teal. Back to Bomford. Put her side in front. They need some more now, though. And be pegged back by Berry's delightful long-range chip. Could it be the title winner, or is there a late sting in the tail? Well done, Mason. Great interception. Berry to Ferrier. Ferrier just chipping it forward. Really give Williams much of a chance. Innie Michael just runs into her own teammate there. A few tiring players out there, I reckon. The tempo just coming to a bit of a lull here as that dangerous ball finds Russell. One back by Hulton. Now here's Jesse Williams. Williams from range. Fired wide, but look at the confidence to take the rasping drive on from 30 yards. As soon as she saw the time and space, we're not having a pop here.
Always having a pop at that one was Williams. Had no intention of running at the fence. So she's going to turn and shoot and try and find the top right. Not quite coming off on this occasion. So very crucial intercept there from Hulton. Now the Warriors in desperate need of a goal with 20 minutes left to play. Good pressing there from Ferrier. Lays it back to Berry. Has Hulton in a good amount of space. Back to Berry. Williams wants it in that pocket of space again. Williams gets on her left. Williams goes towards the far corner, but Barrow dives down and collects comfortably. Didn't quite get the pace on the shot she was after there, Williams.
Well, this is why we've been banging on about Jessie Williams all first half, talking about her coming on as being this transformative event in the game, because the game has changed. I know the goal came as moments before her introduction, but since she's come on, Zebras have had more chances than they've had in the hour building up to it, as Maddie Chambers looks to get in behind again, resumes her duel with Kanagiza and gets around her too. Chambers squares it. Kokovic away from her. Hulton clears the area. They're holding on again at the back.
Former young Matilda as well, Jessie Williams. We haven't even dropped that fact in yet in the 10 minutes she's been on the field. Another reason why such a transformative player is Nichols. And Berry with space to run into. Williams picks it up. Nichols Thought she was going to go in that direction. Manages to keep the ball. Does Williams. With Bonnie Davies searching behind her. Keeping the ball well. Now Gill. Back to Holton. Georgia Burt. Ferrier. Zebras keeping possession well here at the moment. Berry Williams is on the overlap. Gets it to her. Michael just waiting to see what she'll do. Williams into the box. Michael stopping her in her tracks. Does absolutely no one to pass to at the moment, Jessie Williams. And does exceptionally well to win a corner out of that situation. Had very, very limited help. This gives the Zebras another chance.
Darcy Quinn being prepped here by the Warriors. I wonder if maybe she'll come on for Purely, who was down with that injury moments ago. Chambers is wandering over to the near sideline, but that would surely be a bizarre move that only injury could be bringing about. The corner will be taken first. It's Georgia Burt. It's near post. It's very good hands from Jenna Farrow. It's where she's so excelled and impressed this year. Her command of the area, her strength in the air. Well won back by Rachel Gill away from Chambers. Purely forced back by Burt. And just a little foul there from Burt. Yeah, there was. So free kick, 15 to play. 1-1 the score. Zebras on top. We're into the final waning moments of this season. The title will be decided in these final 15.
As we see that substitution for the Warriors, and it is the other fullback, BB Teal, coming off. Darcy Quinn coming on. Good shift from Teal this afternoon. And Quinn will now have the likes of Williams and Nichols to deal with in the last 15 minutes as Warriors have the ball at the moment. Purely. Nichols concedes the throw. Warriors need to get it at the other end of the park fairly soon. It's Holton. Uses her height well. Williams. Nichols. Trying to roll Michael and does Zoe Nichols, but Michael tracks back well. And then gets around Williams. Nichols, lunging challenge. Comes to naught. Still going with the ball is Michael. And eventually a little bit too keen, but Ferry is dispossessed. Berry tries to get around Bomford. The two swinging each other around like a flamboyant gymnastic move that I've never seen before. Berry the first one up. I wouldn't mind another look at that. I have no idea how to explain that.
That's synchronised skating. Bit of a routine going here.
A merry-go-round, I'd call that.
Yeah, see that at the Winter Olympics. Well,
maybe also a wrestling move as well.
Yeah. The whirling gig or something? That was,
I'm trying to think of. It's like a windmill one.
Anyway, players continued. Ref, I think, just went, I can't figure out who started that, so whatever. We'll just let them go. But thankfully, neither player showing ill effects from it. And two pretty tough customers, really. Berry and Bomford, the two keys in midfield for their side. Bomford was exerting all the influence in the first half. Berry's had a bit more on the ball in the second. And certainly, since Williams has come on, the combination play between her, Nichols and Berry, it's been quite eye-catching. This one spills to Bomford. Can she drive her side to the title here? Olivia Bomford has had a fine game and she gets around one. Now squares up with Kanageza. Good recovery from a DK there and the throw in. Wants to go back to Lazinski. Squares it, showed a bit too much of it potentially to Lily Holton though. And now the chase is on. Holton back to Gill. Gill in behind a burst. Very alert, got in ahead of Bomford. Ferrier, heavy touch. Berry can't quite pick out Williams, and Lazinski will hope that this one has enough momentum to go out of play. And in the end, very nice work with the back heel. Hits the throw in.
One way to make sure from Lazinski. Whack it into the shin pad of the opponent. And again, down to 13 minutes plus stoppage time. The Warriors to try and get that winner. The Zebras haven't had as much backs to the wall type defending as we saw in that first half so far. I'd expect the Warriors to keep piling on the pressure, and Kanagi's has shut down Chambers really well so far in this second half. And the game just getting a bit scrappy, which will work to the favour of the Zebras. Quinn striding forward to take the throw. On by Burt. Turned over as far as Williams, who again turns it over to Kanagiza. She tries to find Nichols, but Innie Michael read that like a book and has options out ahead of her. Berry going stride for stride, and Holton does well to get a toe in. Innie Michael willing her team on from centre back. And it might be all hands on deck for the Warriors soon as Davies, Pewley, now Russell. Bomford's under pressure from Williams and turns it over. 2v2 at the moment. Wants to get it to Nichols and does. Zoe Nichols running into the box. Zoe Nichols takes a touch, shoots past Farrow, saves well. Down to her left. Maybe the other corner might have been a better option, but a quality save from Farrow nonetheless.
Yeah, in the end, Lazinski just got drawn in a little too much towards Williams in a 2v2. Gonna go one each. That's great goalkeeping from Farrow. That was sneaking in. And she keeps their season alive with that save. Big moment in the game. Nichols could have fired her side into the lead. Of course, they only need a draw, so a 2-1 lead at this stage of the game could prove most decisive. It's Georgia Burt from the corner. Berry the target. Berry gets a piece of it. It's wide of the mark, and Davies, well, at the second time of asking, is able to clear it away. Just volleyed it up for herself in the end. Chambers has been a little more subdued lately, or that's mainly because the Zebras have been able to get some possession. Chambers cut out by Stevenson. Holton showing strength to hold off Williams and draws the free kick as well. I'll eat some more seconds off the clock here. Barry just telling Gill not to worry about taking this one quickly. We're into the final 10 of regulation. There'll probably be a few minutes of added time though. Have one fairly lengthy stoppage as Burt chips it wide where Holton had just peeled off intelligently. Holton keen to take on Chambers. I'm sure that was particularly well advised, but she showed too much of it to Berry. Lofted effort. Comfortable for Jenna Farrow. And take better than that to beat her, but Berry's already produced better than that from Rangers. That's the reason we're locked at 1-1. A stunning Ali Berry goal. No surprise that she could be the person who may have the final say on the title race. She's been arguably the player of the season. Here's Bomford now. Olivia Bomford looking for Davies. Mason was marking it tightly. Cook to reset.
Taking her time as well is Shelley Cook, although as soon as I say that, she picks it up. I thought she was going to...
I was expecting at least another good 5 seconds out of that.
You and me both, Molly. There's Williams battling away with Lazinski. Berry, who's dropped deeper and deeper. Kanagiza. The punt upfield. Nichols. There's the space initially on Michael, who's maybe even going to concede a corner here. No, they've given it as a foul, much to the chagrin of the Zebras fans in the grandstand. Not agreeing with that decision. Accidental clip, but I didn't see anything too much.
Maybe the hand in the back is a little push. She did stumble a little, and it was just more the timing. It seemed like she'd gotten away with it. Then the free kick was blown right when they were expecting a corner. I think if it had been blown instantly, it would have been, yeah, fair enough. But I think the Zebras thought, oh, here's a corner.
Just this last 10 minutes, the Warriors haven't been able to find either of their wingers, really, with the passes out from the back. Michael and Bomford have strode through the middle of the park pretty well on occasion, and just Chambers and Davies are able to get on the end of any of their passes.
Just tiring a little, perhaps.
Yeah, and the fresh legs of Lily Holton in the centre, I think, has been a good move where, of course, you wonder why Rand went off because she was doing really well, but just the fresh legs where Lily's been out on the wing a lot, so while she's done a lot of work, she's definitely a bit more fresh than the Olympia trio in the middle.
Yeah, certainly getting the edge in the engine room at the moment as Lazinski drops it off for Williams. Williams Down the line for Davies. And Davies looking for Chambers. Loose touch from Mason, inviting danger. Recover the situation. Oh, playing with fire there. And then a loose touch from Kanagiza. Lets in Bonnie Davies. It's Bonnie Davies from range, but it's straight at Shelley Cook. And the pressure just getting to a couple of these defenders here, perhaps. They know that any mistake they make could determine the league title. The stakes could not be high. The entire season's body of work has come down to these last few minutes of the season. Any mistake now could prove pivotal. Any heroic moment in attack could be the stuff of legend for their clubs. As this one's thrown straight to Quinn. Lofted forward to Chambers. It's a 3-on-3 developing here as Maddie Chambers looks to run past. Stevenson does so. Can she slide it through for Davies? Blocked away by Mason. And then well done by Stevenson. But again, the Warriors get back on the ball. It's the fresh legs of Quinn. Straight to Stevenson once more. And cleared away. Batten down the hatches here for the Zebras at the back.
Looking fairly comfortable the last 10 minutes, but I think from now till the end, it's going to be just fine touch. Whack it as far as you can from the Zebras' defence. As Williams intercepts that throw in and does likewise. Michael had dropped off 10 or so yards and be able to put his side in attack. Purely. Loose pass. Eludes Russell. Now Nichols. Berry and Williams to her left. She decides to go herself to Zoe Nichols. Trying to get around Lazinski. Turning inside is Zoe Nichols. Still keeping the ball. Michael manages to get a toe in. Now Bomford. Davies is turned up centrally. Decides not to go there. And it's good defence from Farrier as well. Likewise from Williams, who looks to play in Chambers, who's got a step on Gill, but not quite a step on Kayla Mason. Tries to win the throw-in for a side, but keeps possession. And then a tired pass, to say the least, there from Mason. Will keep the pressure on in her defensive half, purely. Bomford trying to get around Burt. And again, Birch is finding touch. As did say before, they're looking for touch, maybe a bit further upfield than in front of sort of 30 yards out from goal. And there's Davies to Purely. Olympia must find a goal. Davies, jinking inside. Bonnie Davies eludes two. Just about cleared from Stevenson. Chambers still on the ball. Again, crowded out by Zebras. Bomford wants to pass it back. Burt harassing at all opportunities. Bomford still going. Olivia Bomford over the top. Similar range to where she scored the free kick. Not on this occasion.
Yeah. Cook just watches this one safely over the top, immediately knowing that was no threat. Relieved Shelley Cook there as Bomford finally found some room. The Zebras have done a pretty good job just choking up those shooting lanes, getting plenty of bodies in the way. Finally, Bomford bought the space. Couldn't find a way to get it down like she did the free kick. 3.5 left in regulation. Can the Warriors snatch the title late? There'll be a free kick going the way of the Zebras. Chambers protesting the point. It goes in favour of those in black and white. A whole lot she's done there, I don't think, Chambers.
Oh, I didn't think so either, to be fair.
Can see why she's a bit frustrated by that one. They have to just take it short, and then Burt is looking for Jessie Williams. Chopping back into the space nicely was Bomford. It's Bomford turning and goes to Chambers, who's just popped up centrally, but straight into Kayla Mason, who's been a star in the heart of the Zebras' defence today. Made a number of important challenges and her recovery speed vitals. Michael lofts this one over the top. It'll be gathered. Oh, it should be gathered by Cook. Eventually it is. As it wasn't the cleanest attackers, but got the ball in the end. That's all that matters.
Oh, loose pass there.
Turned over cheaply. Now the Warriors, 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time. Michael, who's drifting further and further forward, spots the run of Quinn as she put that too far in front. She has indeed. I don't think Kanagiza is going to be in a great hurry to take this throw in. Issuing the instructions to pump it long.
The Warriors, I don't know what the formation they're playing at the moment is. I think it's just throw everybody forward. They've got Purley and Lazinski back. Williams is pushing up the field. They're throwing the kitchen sink here. And why not? They've got 2 minutes left in regulation. Holton back to Gill. Gill, they've got a little bit of time here at the back. Oh, playing back a soft central ball. Not a good option from Mason. Not made to pay, though. There's some tired bodies out there now. Innocent Michael. The centre-back has stepped up and driven the play this second half, but Holton's influence since moving into midfield has been profound. She's been an absolute rock defensively. Purely takes it quickly, looking for Russell. Michael really driving the play once more. It's Innocent Michael into the area and crossing. Stevenson straight back to Bomford. Bodies flying in there. Bomford shot blocked by Stevenson. A foot on it, and this will be a corner. No, it's taken into the middle for Chambers. Chambers turning onto the left and firing off a shot. That two blocked and behind for a corner. And look at Jenna Farrow just working away up there.
I tell you what, Jessie Williams.
Oh, she wants permission. She's begging the bench.
Jessie Williams' challenge led a few hearts and mouths here in the stand. Farrow not quite yet up for the corner. They've got 4 not in the box. What are they doing? Anyway, Williams towards the near post. Flicked on. Stevenson clears it. Will it be a throw or a corner? It'll go out for a throw. I tell you what, you've got to start thinking about pushing the keeper up at this stage.
Farrow was begging Alistair Russell for permission to get up there and was denied.
At least put the centre-back up there and have the keeper where the centre-back is.
Yeah, look, I love it as a spectacle. I still don't know if it serves much purpose as a tactic. If you're going to keep one back, you might as well let it be the person who can use their hands, is my view. But I love it for the pure spectacle. So get up there, Jenna.
I don't know, a few years ago, Portland Thorns goalkeeper scored a goal and it was absolute worldy. So
has been known to happen.
Definitely happens.
If we were to see a Farrow goal, it would be the moment of the decade, just about, I reckon, here, winning the title from a keeper goal. The Zebras have got stoppage time to see out. The Warriors have a corner. There will be 4 added minutes. The title comes down to this. It'll be taken. Swung in. Holton. Gill. They help it on. And now Jessie Williams will probably just look to carry this one. Shields it away from Purley. She got the speed. She gets goal side, but Bomford has dropped back in intelligently. Lazinski. Across to Darcy Quinn. 3.5 left here. The Warriors must score. If they score, they will win the Super League. If the Zebras hold on, they will be champions just as they were in 2017. Thrown in. Amy Pro. Away goes Berry. That'll lead up precious more time.
B. Lazinski doing well to keep it in play. Just taking time to adjust the shin pad as well. Russell. Michael. Well, she's hit the deck as Lazinski. I've undersold her there a bit. Quinn. Still going. Kanagiza clears. Lazinski's still on the deck. Looked like she was just clutching for a shin pad rather than a calf, but I reckon that's a bit of cramp there for the centre-back. 91st minute. Will they add this on?
Well, they've got to score, so this is really not helping them in the slightest.
Someone in the crowd calling out, and they're not doing this again, implying time wasting.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Given they need to score.
Yeah, given they have to score or they don't win the title, I don't think it falls under the category of time wasting. I think Lazinski's best off just rolling off the pitch and getting a sub on here.
I was going to say, would you just not roll off pitch and even play with 10 and just put everyone forward, wait for the call back? They do have a sub on the bench, one left, do the Warriors, but she's off the park. Play will continue, and it's Kanagiza up against Chambers. Chambers running towards the byline. Maddie Chambers running out of real estate. Stevenson just sticking a toe out. Ferrier was looking for over the fence. Won't quite get it on this occasion. 93rd minute we're in.
Pinkowick's about to come on here for the Warriors, so they simply have to. They've got 90 seconds left in their season. Lazinski's season is done. It's over to her teammates now. The Warriors on the attack late. They must score. Only a win will do. Eventually, the number 6 will be shown and she can get on there. That is the substitute Monique Pinkovics. So, this is it. The season is on the line. Can the Warriors strike late? Broken up again by Ferrier. And missing the gentleman over the fence there is a Zebras fan because he's in no great rush there. to get that ball. Bomford. Russell. Purely. Now Innie Michael. And she makes something happen here, Michael. Played the 1-2. And it falls back to her. It's Michael sauntering into the box. Innocent Michael cutting it back. Well done, Kayla Mason. Her positioning spot on once again. 30 to go.
I barely said Mason's name here today, really, but she's had a corker at the centre-back position. Snuffed out just about everything, particularly in this second half. And there's Pinkovitz pressured by Nichols and just getting away with it. Quinn looking to go forward. Burt, now Russell into the feet. Bomford, Burt will do well to clear here. I think she wants to find a teammate. Finds Nichols. Can Nichols get around Purely? She does, and she's heading straight for the corner as Zoe Nichols. Williams running. Tries to go for a goal. Will get the ball back. Still going Nichols. Pass to Williams. Can she seal it? Jessie Williams has won the title for the Hobart Zebras. Jubilant scenes on the counter. Hobart Zebras, champions of 2019.
We got the late drama. What a decider it's been. We have our winners. The Hobart Zebras will be Super League champions for 2019. In the final seconds of the game, Jessie Williams. What a story she's been this year. She has been the late hero multiple times. She's rocked up at the venue and put the cherry on top of the Super League title. The Warriors, they gave it their all. They've thrown it at them. They've thrown the kitchen sink. Bomford's brilliant free kick had them ahead, but it's not going to be enough. The Zebras will be champions. They might even add to it now. Zoe Nichols stroking it through for Farrow. We've got 95 minutes. The final whistle must be imminent. The Zebras will return to the summit. They won it in 2017. It was Ulverston who dominated the scene in 2018. Undefeated in the Super League. But they have returned to the top of the mountain in 2019. The Hobart Zebras. They win the statewide cup and the Super League double. And they win it in dramatic circumstances. 2-1, a goal from Jessie Williams in the final minute of stoppage time, sealing the deal. What a decider it was, folks.
A cracker of a match. We were hoping for it, and it absolutely eventuated. We predicted goals to the Zebras. The Warriors they had so much dominance of possession and play in that first half. They'll be kicking themselves that went in at 0-0. And then in that second half, great free kick from Bomford. Berry managed to level it up. And just that picture-perfect free kick from Bomford. Berry against the run of play, and then the introduction of Williams added a bit more pace. They could play on the counter, the Zebras, and at the very last moment, they came up with the winner. Molly, what a game.
What a game. What a way to end the season on that note with a final goal. I think it's right that a team did win this match, so then it is the winner that wins this and not just a draw and, oh, yep, you've won because of goal difference. Yeah, just absolutely unreal to see that happen. And it's just another case of you've got to take your opportunities, and the Zebras took theirs. And Olympia should have had the game tied up in the first 20 minutes, really, with the chances they had in front of goals. They just couldn't break the Zebras down well enough to actually capitalise on that. So I think, well done, Zebras. They worked the tactics out. They changed their game plan to react to how Olympia were always going to come out. And I think, well deserved in the end. And they proved it with a 2-1 scoreline.
What was the final shot tally when we got to the end there, Molly?
So we got 7-12 Warriors ahead for on, and then off targets about even there with 3 and 4 for Warriors. Again, have the edge all over with that.
I reckon you could break that down into little chunks too. Last half hour, certainly the Zebras got back on an even keel after that first half where they were being shelled for large parts of it. Survived very well indeed, and they are league champions as a result. We've got the presentation coming up for you now. We'll stay live throughout that as the Zebras hoist the Super League trophy. And of course, they will win it just as they did in 2017. The Warriors won the pilot edition, the mini version that was run when it was first being experimented with back in 2016. Since then, the full editions of it. Twice the Zebras, once Ulverston. This has been the first real title race we've had in the Super League. There's been blowout dominant victors previously, not this time around. It came down to the final minute of the final game, and Ali Berry, what a goal she scored. We'll get her over to her now.
Firstly, I want to thank Olympia. It's always tough coming up against you girls. You had a great season. To my girls, I'm so glad we had all of you. Everyone wrote us off at the start of the year because we started off rocky, but we proved our hard work and get results. Thank you to our coaching staff for putting up with us. Thanks to the refs, and thank you to the supporters. It was great to have such a big support up there. Kayla. Ed. Georgia. Selena. Rachel. Jessie. Izzy. Taylor. Lily. Eve. Casey. Maddie. Shelley. Zoe. JK. And Lily. Christopher. Carolyn. Allie.
And now Football Tasmania CEO Matt Moultley will present Hobart Zebras with the 2019 Women's Super League Cup. Congratulations, Hobart Zebras Women's Super League Champions 2019.
Phil. So there we have it, the champions of 2019. What a team they have been. And they do get that goal, which means they finish 3 points clear of the Warriors on top. It was a great season. It was a hell of a title race, filled with twists and turns. I must admit, I thought after that round 15 game when we saw the Warriors dismantle the Zebras 3-0, that was the team that was going to be hoisting the trophy this day. Fair play to Chris A and this Zebras squad for turning it around. Their last 5 weeks, 6 weeks of the season were outstanding, and they're champions as a result. It was a really tough period. You saw a few of those games, Molly, in that big month or so where they had those big games against Ulverston, Kingborough. They were suddenly staring down the barrel of the deficit to the Warriors. What was it you think that enabled them to turn this round and get there in the end?
I think just it shows that they've got experience. I think there's a few other sides there that in the competition that just don't have the same as experience as the Zebras. You look at the players, they've all been there, done that. 2 years ago they were in the same situation winning the trophy, and I think that shows that they're a side who've won the trophy before and knew what it would take to win it again, and you can see they're stoked to have it back in their possession and just being able to dig in and find that fight, because I think there were a few games before that where they were just wrestled out and they got a draw when perhaps they should have won, and I think they've found that deadliness in front of goals which they really needed, and they did it at a good time.
And it was also just the games they played in that last 5 or 6 week period. I mean, it has been about the most difficult set of fixtures you can imagine, really, for the Zebras. Ulverston trips, Kingborough trips, Warrior Park as well on their schedule, and to come through that and to end up in a position to be victorious, I think that's wholly deserving of the league title. For that alone, they, as you say, started off a bit slow, but I think the confidence from that statewide cup victory as well really helped them on to the end of the season. And I tell you what, the Women's Super League this year has been an absolute pleasure to watch and cover. I've got to say, the title race being a main fillip for that as well, but another quality year, and I hope to see more of the same next year.
Here's hoping. It has been a pleasure bringing this one to you. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Paul. It's the Zebras Day at KG5 Super League champions for 2019. A 2-1 win over the Warriors, sealing the title in the most dramatic of fashion. Thanks for joining us, and bye for now.